Stand power! I don't know what that pose was, but welcome back to Food with Fee on the Truly Imagination Entertainment channel. As you know, my name's Fee, and I cook food sometimes. Back at it again in the month of May with more beautiful cooking recipes for your viewing pleasure and learning pleasure if you're actually someone who follows my recipes, which if you can follow them, I salute you, because Lord knows I'm inconsistent. But that's not the important thing today. The important thing is that we are making a cake. And whilst you might be thinking, Fiona, you make a lot of cakes, like why? Why would you do this? Why do you make so many goddamn cakes? My answer is, I like cake, and I mean, it's good. However, this is a very special type of cake, a cake that some people might even call a lie. We are in fact making Black Forest cake from the video game Portal. The lovely cake that GLaDOS promises us, but never comes. Much like me. I'm just kidding, that was a horrible joke, ignore that. But anyway, enough with the boring stuff. In a few minutes, once Fiona finally gets her apron fixed, we will be right back with the ingredients you will need for this recipe. There. Alright, so now that I've finally got this damn apron on, and yes, I actually got an apron that fits me now, we are going to get started with making our devil's food cake, which is going to be the base of our cake. That is not a lie. The cake is not a lie, I promise you. For this, we are going to need half a pound or 2 sticks of unsalted butter, 3/4 cup of cocoa powder, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 cups of granulated sugar, 1 cup of brewed coffee, 1 cup of canola oil or vegetable oil, 1 cup of buttermilk, 2 large eggs, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So that is the ingredients for your devil's food cake. Alright, Fiona's finally figured out what she's doing. So, let's begin with our instructions. Starting with our oven. We're going to start it at 350 degrees, as one does when they're baking. And so the first thing you want to do is line 2 8-inch cake pans with a circle of parchment paper. Now luckily, I've discovered this thing that exists in the world. It's one of my greatest baking finds. It's these beautiful, beautiful little baking parchment papers. They come in a circle, and you basically just lay them down flat in a circular baking sheet, and they come with these little strips. And basically what those do is when you're done baking, you can reach in and grab the cake a lot easier than it would be. So if you're ever looking for like a baking hack, these parchment things, these are amazing. I love them. I use them every time I've made cake. Anyway, so what we're gonna start with is our dry ingredients. So any of our powders and stuff. So that would be baking powder, flour, granulated sugar. Actually, no, not granulated sugar, that's for later. Cocoa powder, baking soda, flour. So whisk together the flour, salt, baking powder, baking soda, and cocoa powder into a large bowl. So we're going to do that. Where's my salt? There's my salt. Salt! Move that. And I also want to give a warm welcome because I really should talk about this before. like we get going, because it is kind of the elephant in the room, this beauty. I would like to give a warm welcome to my newest, most beautiful piece of cooking and baking machinery, Tiffany. My KitchenAid stand mixer. She's named after Tiffany Valentine from Chucky, because I love that series. The Chucky series is my favorite one of my favorite horror series by far. It's hilarious, it's campy, it's amazing, and I love it. And I love Tiffany. She's my favorite character. So yeah, in honor of Tiffany Valentine, we have my KitchenAid stand mixer. She's beautiful. I love her. I've wanted one of these for years, and I finally acquired one somehow. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, people. But
did you know that people with guilty consciences are more easily startled by loud...
We get to use it to cream butter, which is my favorite thing in the world. That clap was really loud. Anyway, let's get on with what we're actually supposed to be doing. Dry ingredients. We're gonna start with the flour, because flour is the devil. If I can get this out. Just get this out. The sieve. It's not a sieve, but okay. There we go. Now, I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna do 2 cups of all-purpose flour. This is a half cup because it fits in the hole easier. So if you're watching this and you laughed, I'm not surprised. Why would I even be surprised? So anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I need to put the sieve back in. Trowel sieve. I don't know what it's called. I'm not the best with names, but doesn't matter. Alright, now we're going to add, if I can find my measuring spoon. There it is! We need a teaspoon of baking powder and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. So here's our baking powder. I have an ungodly amount of this. Teaspoon, that's half teaspoon. Where's regular teaspoon? Teaspoon. Whoop. There we go. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Away. And then 2 teaspoons of baking soda. So we need 2 teaspoons of that. Up. Boom. There we go. And then cocoa powder. Cocoa powder, cocoa powder, cocoa powder, cocoa powder. 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. Wonderful. I believe I have one of this. 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. Wonderful. I can get it open. The cocoa powder open. There we go. Alright, so that's our dry ingredients together. Next is cream butter and sugar in a bowl of a stand mixer. I just I love it. I love that I have one now. She is not that. She is beautiful and I love her. I love you. I sound like Mort. King Julian. Oh God. Anyway, so we need 2 sticks of butter, unsalted butter, unfortunately, even though salted butter is low-key the best kind of butter, but unfortunately we must use the unsalted for this recipe. But yeah, there we go. So 2 things of butter. Alright, and sugar. We need sugar. How much sugar? Where the fuck is it? 2 cups of granulated sugar. Wonderful. I have granulated sugar, which is great, but I'm not gonna use this granulated sugar because that's granulated sugar for like tea and shit. I'm gonna use this. Stir, so mixing, beating. All right, so 6. I'm also gonna just unplug that for a second. That was flying everywhere, so I'm actually gonna use this beautiful contraption. It's creaming this shit. There we go. I'm just successfully creamed. That is beautiful. I love you, Tiffany. Anyway, so now that that's creamed, we add the coffee, oil, buttermilk, eggs, and vanilla, and then we mix in the dry ingredients. So let's do that.
Well done. In fact, you did so well, I'm going to note this on your file, in the commendation section.
But that's not the point. So, we have all our wet ingredients here. Let's put this back in as well. So I'm gonna start with the coffee, our cup of coffee. Gonna add that in. That's done. Now for our buttermilk. My least favorite thing because it smells like
Smelly garbage.
open. A cup of buttermilk. Mr. Potter. Welcome to Snape's baking class. Eggs. There we go. Our oil. A cup of canola oil. And a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Wonderful. There we go. Alright, so that's our batter thoroughly mixed. I'm gonna move this over. And now that this is done, the only thing that's really left on this page is pour batter into prepared round cake pans. Bake for 30 to 40 minutes until toothpick comes out clean. Let cool in pans until remove the knife offset spatula, which is great. Which means we can close this for now. And we will move on to our other shit. I'm just gonna wash this off. First, it's dripping everywhere. The mixer. Now comes the real question: how do I get this? How do I get this off? There we go. Figured it out. Alright, let me get this out. I'm also going to dust the sides with cocoa powder. If I could just... There we go. Alright, there we go. That's our 2 cakes ready. So I'm gonna get my oven mixed. And we're gonna let them in for about 40 minutes. And then we'll check back in with you after these messages. And we're back. A little earlier than the cakes because we need to get on this shit. But we're gonna start with our black cherries. Okay. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of put this over here. We're gonna dump out the cherries. Come on. Come on, cherries. But because the way we're making this, it's a little bit unconventional. Instead of making the cherries into the cake, we're making a divot in the cake for the cherries. But we need to do a bit of cutting first. So we're gonna get a knife, we're gonna get a cutting board, and we're gonna cut our cherries. And I'm gonna get a bowl for them. Sorry for the loud noise. Alright, so the cakes are done. They're looking very, very nice. Put that there. Move this shit over. Ah! Not important. Anyway, we have our cakes done. They are beautiful and not stuck to the pan. Shut up! I'm shutting the door. Just getting my cakes out, god damn it. Now, if you're wondering, Fiona, what are you doing over here? I'm making a goopy cherry filling because that's what you're supposed to do with Black Forest cake. It's getting very thick, so we're going to turn off the heat because it's very thick now. And here is my chocolate shavings. That is not enough, but I'm going to be shaving more chocolate because this recipe is slowly draining me much like the game Portal does. So you know what? This is honestly painfully accurate. Anyway. Anyway. So, now that we've got a giant amount of crap, we have to start on our whipping cream for the top and also the center. So, we're going to start with 2 cups of whipping cream, the type of cream you use. We're going to put that in our bowl. Yes. There we go. That's our whipping cream. All done. And then we need a tablespoon of granulated sugar and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. Might do a little bit more than that. There we go. And teaspoon vanilla extract. And also, we're gonna do a little secret thing that I've always done. For all my Canadian viewers, there's a thing, I don't even remember. I think this is from the show George Shrinks. I don't know if anyone remembers George Shrinks, but it was a show about a kid who was really small, kind of like Stuart Little, but he was a human. And the grandma puts a little bit of maple syrup in her whipping cream. So I have been doing that ever since. So, because of that, putting some maple syrup in the whipping cream. Now we're gonna put on our lovely whipping thing so we can, oh my god, so we can whip it good, as they say. If I can find my instruction manual to figure out what we are whipping it on. Here we are back in baking hell with our ganache making for our Black Forest cake, even though it's not really a Black Forest cake. Add a cup of heavy cream to your pot. And we're gonna let that sit until it starts simmering, and then we're gonna put half a cup of chocolate chips in there. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. What a joyous day it is to be making. Well, on the bright side, you can see outside. At least I didn't wait till the very last minute to do this, only the sort of last minute to do this. With everything, and cherries and whipped cream and ganache on mine, and oh my god, why am I alive? But I do have baklava, so while we wait for that, I'm gonna go baklava. Now it's shimmering, well, it's shimmering, can I keep it? In a certain amount of time. People must be so talented to be able to do this amount of bullshit in like an hour, because it's going on 2 hours now. Oh no, I stand corrected, 3 hours. But yeah, like, you know, when you see the baking shows, I wonder how they do that in so short of a time. It just confuses me. My mother is making a lot of noise if you can't tell. But the ganache is looking pretty good. At least we have that going for us. You can tell my energy has dropped from the beginning of this because I've been at this for so long. It's 7:22. I started this at 5 o'clock.
I was gonna put something here, but in all honesty, I don't know what the fuck to put. I was gonna put some really long monologue by GLaDOS, but I honestly don't have the time to be sifting through hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage for something that might in fact get copyright claimed. I don't know if there's copyright on a video game character's voice, but you never fucking know. So here I am, recording this at 12 at night for your viewing pleasure, or I guess listening pleasure, because this is an audio recording. I mainly just am doing this so that way there's something for you to listen to instead of just watching me make up the cake in pure silence. Because that would be real boring now, wouldn't it? But I don't really know. This is a surprisingly good recording that actually sounds like GLaDOS mildly. That's not even an attempt by me. I'm just exhausted because I've been editing this video for 2 hours. I do enjoy this, but it's still very exhausting.
Almost done. And no, let's get a point that's not broken. And then there's it was here a moment ago. There it is. Yay! We can make it somewhat accurate. Whoa! There! Now we have the cake! Whoopee! Yippee! Yippee! Throwing all this on there. Just why not? But there. Water is on my hair. Cake. Anyway, fuck. That is the end of the video. That took so much time and effort. It's not funny, but everyone really liked the cake. My friends really liked the cake. I even delivered some to them. Cake was good. So it worked out in the end. It looked quite accurate to what the cake looks like. I couldn't really get the chocolate shavings all the way around because it wasn't gonna stick. But it worked out in the end. That's all that matters. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Food with Fee on the Truly Imagination Entertainment channel. If you are enjoying my content or you find this interesting, please, 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 I encourage you to subscribe. It really helps out the channel and we really appreciate it. And we are going to be starting some new projects, like hopefully in the near future. So like, stay tuned. There is more coming than just this and the podcast, I promise. And speaking of the podcast, me and Star Williams, the kind of founder of the channel, we have a podcast. We released an episode last week. It's about concerts and skiing for some reason, but it's funny, and I like doing the podcast. It's nice to have someone to talk to. But yeah, like this video, subscribe, comment down below if there's any recipes you want me to try from any of your favorite video games, shows, books, whatever. I'm actually hopefully going to be trying to make a Nuka-Cola, Quantum and regular, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.